Welcome back to my channel. Today we'll learn Supabase with ReactJS. Supabase is an alternative to Firebase and it is open source, where Supabase uses PostgreSQL and which is SQL-like database. Firebase uses NoSQL. Since it's totally open source, we don't have to pay for anything. We can have unlimited amount of users and data. This is the dashboard of Supabase. We have settings in which we'll get all the projects. Then we have tables. We can add new tables, authentication, storage, then SQL, API, database, and the project settings. So the schema we are getting is having UUID, which is unique user ID for users which are authenticated, then updated at with a timestamp that when that user was updated, username, avatar URL, and website. Like ID will be the primary key and the username will be unique. A username should be greater than 3 characters. So here in the API settings, we have the URL and the API keys, which are the most important things for us to connect. Make sure you keep these things as secret and don't share it with anyone. We will now create a file named .env. That file will be a hidden file. Make sure you don't get committed and push it publicly because it will be storing all the secrets. We will supply all the secrets to our app using the .env file. So we will create 2 secrets. The first one as Supabase URL and the second one as Supabase API key. So to test whether your API keys or your secrets are working or not, you can console log it anywhere in your app and check on your browser's console. As we can see, our key and value both are being shown properly. So what we'll do, we'll remove this and we'll begin with the other process. We'll create a file known as Supabase client.ts where we'll initialize Supabase for our app. To install Supabase dependency on our app, we'll install it using yarn. So this is how we'll call our Supabase URL as well as the API key. The create client method takes both the URL and the ANN key. The ANN key means it's the API key which is anonymous and takes the both as arguments, and it checks whether both are correct, and if those both if the pair is correct, it connects you to the client. Now we'll create a context which will determine whether the user is authenticated or not, and it will be passed to all the components directly. We don't have to pass it through all the component layers. A context is a universal, it's similar to a global variable which is available to all the components. So this is the auth provider, which will be having 2 values, which will be the user as well as the loading state. So we have three predefined functions, which are sign up, sign in, and sign out. And the fourth one which we'll pass will be the user. So these are the values which we can take out from the context. So this is the provider which will provide us all the values which we'll be looking up. So we'll call the auth provider in app.tsx only, and it will provide to all the layers or all the components inside which are being called inside app.tsx. So we'll create states of all the fields which are in our form, and we'll store all the data inside our form in the states. We'll add an on change listener, which will listen to any change we'll do in the following component. For example, if it's an input of name, so whenever we change the name, it will be listening to it and the name will be changed inside the state also. Let's test whether it's working or not, whether we are able to sign up or not. So we'll use Mailinator. It's a disposable mail, but the best part is that mail stays forever. So you can use that mail and it's a public email address. So you can create it with any name followed by Mailinator and it will be available for you. As you can see, we got the confirmation email. You just have to confirm your mail and then your account is ready to work. As you can see in the dashboard, our test user at mailinator.com is available now and it is created and validated by us. Okay, now we'll add confirm password validation also. We'll show the error message that passwords do not match. Let's store the error message also inside the constants file so that we can change it anytime we want to. What we'll do now, we'll call that function on submit on the form. So what happens if we'll use this type of on submit, we are able to use the ready to use validation by Chakra UI, and it doesn't let us create any user which doesn't have any email address and validates everything. Now we'll call the same method. Instead of sign up, we'll use login for the login functionality. Now we'll check the whole flow. We'll first sign up a user, then log in it, and we'll check whether the user is logged in properly or not. As you can see, we are getting an error that login is not a function. So I did a typo. It's not login, it's sign in. As you can see, once we logged in, it's still showing user as null. So the issue is we didn't wait for the function to over, and since it's a promise, so we have to wait for it. So we'll use async await to wait for the function to end, and then it will show us the value. Now when we log in, we can see the user object is showing here and we are getting whether if user is authenticated or not. So thank you for watching. See you in the next one.